third story of the day, I'm excited about this one because it makes the 2020 election way more interesting. To me, this is the most dangerous candidate. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this on the right. People on both sides are very mixed about her, but Tulsi Gabbard is no joke. She's way more competent than Elizabeth Warren. She's 50 times more competent than Hillary Clinton is, and she's probably the best candidate that the Democratic Party could possibly come up with. So it's going to be interesting to see how they treat her after they treated Bernie Sanders. She's already getting really bad press. That's how you know she's not quite as bad as the other candidates. I'll get into all this stuff. I've actually met her in Hawaii, working on getting an interview with her too. Her team actually reached out to me. We're working on it. Hopefully I get the Tulsi Gabbard interview. I'll ask her the tough questions that you guys want me to ask her. But let's go over the bad press she's getting first, and then we're going to get into why she is a pretty dangerous candidate. They're going at her now saying she's anti-LGBT, and this is just making me like her more. Not because she is anti-LGBT, but because it actually seems like, unless she's changed, she has a spine and she cares about the U.S. Constitution. So I'm taking some quotes. This was in Fox, and also like all liberal sites were just smashing her. They really don't like her. It's hilarious. But she said, "As Democrats, we should be representing the views of the people, not a small number of homosexual extremists." So this was this was her in the early 2000s. She's like, we should be representing the people, not a small number of homosexual extremists. Of course, now she's, saying she changed and, she's totally evolved. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's like here, let me change the phrase. As Democrats, we should be representing the views of the people, not a small number of heterosexual extremists. I don't care if they're homosexual, heterosexual, this and that. What she said is true. She shouldn't have to waffle and back down on what she said, because it's true. She's not representing a small number of extremists regardless of their sexual preference. That's not what you're supposed to do. So it's like now she has to apologize for telling the truth. Don't worry, Tulsi Gabbard. We'll save you. We'll make an America that you don't have to be sorry for telling the truth. You don't have to be like Ellen and Kevin Hart and The Rock and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for maybe saying so." It's like just let it out, Tulsi. I'll back you. She also said, this is a quote from the early 2000s, "It's highly likely that federal judges will soon be tearing apart the U.S. Constitution in order to force same-sex marriage down the throats of the people of Hawaii and America." Once again, it's like, are you trying to get conservative support with that stuff? First of all, she would never say this now. She's my problem with, I'm going to get into it earlier. I know people are probably hyperventilating and freaking out. Anomaly, how could you go against Trump? You're not, just listen, relax and listen. I'm not saying that. I'm just letting you know what it is, having some fun. We'll move on. But this is how she was in 2004. It's also how a lot of Democrats were in 2004. And the sad part to me, and the reason that, I really don't support any Democrats anymore, and I wish Tulsi would maybe fight against this, although I don't think she will, is because it's okay to say that stuff. It's okay to stand up against the U.S. Constitution. It's okay to have an opinion about same-sex marriage. And to be honest, it's also okay to leave it to the states. That's what I personally support it. I don't care. To me, same-sex marriage means now gay people and lesbians can get scammed like straight couples. Like, oh, wow, now you could sign your rights over to the government, and when your boyfriend or lesbian girlfriend breaks up with you, now she can take half of your money, like Jeff Bezos' wife. So to me, it's not a big deal. I don't care. It's like, okay, you want to get scammed by the government too? That's fine. But it's okay for Tulsi or others to say, listen, this is unconstitutional, because it probably is. Just like Obamacare, I get it. We got to help the gay and poor people. That's what they always say. It's like, sure, but are you just using gay people and poor people as a scapegoat to do something unconstitutional? Yes, they almost always are. She said that in 2004. She doesn't stand by it anymore, I'm sure, and she'll never probably say that again, unfortunately, although I wish she would. We're going through the bad press, and then I'm going to get into the good stuff and other stuff, but they're also bashing her for her meeting with Bashar al-Assad. And it's funny, because anytime the media bashes you, it's almost like opposite day. Like, everything that they say is almost completely wrong. I don't want to say it's always wrong, but it's like, that's actually one of the only, I'm not saying only, but that's one of the most impressive things to me, is that she went out to Syria, she talked to the people, and had a meeting with Bashar al-Assad. That's fine to me. I don't care. Why not? And also, she understands what was going on in Syria. The regime change war was totally terrible. She served in the military. She had actually supported Trump in a few ways. I won't say she backed Trump completely, but I will say I saw her on CNN and they said, Tulsi, aren't you mad or something that Trump put Secretary Mattis in a position? Do you think he can handle it in government? And she backed Trump and said, I think it's offensive that you would say that someone who served in the military couldn't do a government position. I find that offensive, and I think he'll do a great job. So she's gone against the grain more than any other Democrat. She's anti-regime change war. She worked with Rand Paul on a Stop Arming Terrorists Act. So, she's done that stuff. So that's all the bad press. I just want to get out because they're just crushing her in the press. And my problem with the bad Tulsi press is the same thing as my problem with the bad Trump press. It's not that you shouldn't be able to criticize Trump or Tulsi Gabbard. My problem with it is they don't do it right. They always talk about stuff that doesn't matter. All of the press doesn't matter. They don't get to the things that they should be questioning Tulsi on, which is what I'm trying to do if I get an interview. They should be questioning Tulsi on, where do you stand on the Second Amendment? A lot of people from Hawaii that I follow that are conservative, and also people just regular conservatives, were saying she's really bad on the Second Amendment and she's trying to do gun grabs in Hawaii. I've heard it multiple times on my Facebook and Twitter. I've also been in Hawaii twice, and someone recognized me, talked to me, and said that he didn't like Tulsi because of her stance on the Second Amendment. We should talk about, her little short time with the DNC vice chair. She left her position as vice chair of DNC to join the Bernie Sanders campaign and fight for the anti-establishment Bernie. But, people made some valid points that I never thought about because I got caught all up in that wave. And I was like, wait a second. How corrupt do you have to be to get to vice chair of the DNC? Like, how did Tulsi Gabbard even get there? It's a crazy high-level position to get for someone who is, seeming anti-establishment. And maybe she just did a good job and got there. But anybody that serves vice president at the DNC should be highly at least questioned or scrutinized. But once again, like I'm saying, all the stuff I'm talking about now, you won't find it anywhere in the news. Fox News is not going to talk about it. No liberal news is going to talk about it. It's like, why is our press so bad? Why is it opposite day in the press? And now I want to tell you about, as far as me, because I put up a picture of her. Someone said, you sure she's not a classic conservative? No, I don't think so. But I do think she's definitely probably the best the Democrat. I always say, I like Trump. I like Rand Paul. I like Tulsi Gabbard, and everyone else I don't really care for. Like, she's my third favorite person, but I like her a lot less than Trump and Rand Paul. However, here's the thing about her. She really is a dangerous candidate, and a lot of people say, anomaly. On Instagram, I posted a picture with her because I was at a town hall she was at. I spoke to her for a little. Not like best friends with her. I literally just went to an open forum town hall. And people are like, oh, Anomaly, you're turning on Trump. Oh, my God, you can't this and that. You can't do this. I never said I was going to vote for her. I just posted a picture, and I said that here's what she did. Here's how I feel. And people can't handle that. But here's reasons why she can win. And I know people don't want to hear this, especially conservatives, but you got to hear this. You can't celebrate a game that you didn't win. If you're an NFL team, if you're the Saints, you can't go out next week and just think you're going to beat them. You have to, play the game. The game's never been played. If you're just someone who's going to go vote and that's it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but you can afford to do that. But I see a lot of conservative analysts and other people who pretend like they want to have a huge impact on the culture just saying, oh, don't talk about it. No, she could never win. Trump's going to crush her. It's like, that's a losing strategy. That sounds like a horrible idea. And here's the reason why she could win. First of all, why did Trump win? There's many reasons, obviously. There's many great things that he did. But the first reason that he really won, to be completely honest, is Hillary Clinton. She was probably one of the worst candidates I've ever seen in my life. He absolutely slaughtered the Republican competition because, look at Trump next to Ted Cruz he made all of them look like babies. Trump just crushed all the Republicans because politicians are honestly pretty incompetent. They've set the bar super low. They're not very authentic. They're not very genuine. You just know when you're talking and you hear them talk, you're just like, they're not believable. Very rarely does a politician come around where it's somewhat believable. Trump was that. But also he faced Hillary Clinton. I didn't vote for Trump. I definitely probably will this next time, although I always say, and people take this the wrong way, my vote decision is not made until the final day. I want to take everything into consideration. Trump has a 90% chance of getting my vote, 95% chance. However, even with Bernie, even when I liked Bernie against Hillary, I wasn't going to make my final decision until I wanted to see every debate. I wanted to let the whole thing play out. Like, I don't have to vote till the day of, so I don't make my decision till the day of. It doesn't matter how much I love someone or hate someone. So when I say I probably won't vote, I want to take everything into consideration. I don't want to be stubborn at all. But without Hillary, with another Democrat that was somewhat likable, Trump could have easily lost the election. You have to understand there were billions of dollars of propaganda, television, and it's only gotten worse. I went into a bookstore the other day. All the books were propaganda. All the kids' books were propaganda. Someone recognized me recently that was younger, like in high school, when I was out, and I asked, I was like, how conservative are kids your age? Like kids that are like 14 through 17, 18, how conservative are they? And she said that none of them are conservative. They're all liberal. So that's what I'm telling people. Like, people don't want to hear, because Paul Joseph Watson and I think Tim Pool and a few others, they keep saying that Gen Z is conservative. Some of them are. I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but this idea that the future has been won by conservatives is absolutely ridiculous and outlandish. It's not true at all. I have a younger sibling, and he's so far, like, his kids his age are so far gone that even if you're really, really woke at that age, you're still left-leaning and caught in this propaganda matrix, and you have no idea. So this idea that the youth is going to just magically be conservative, it's a total lie. And there's an onslaught of propaganda. And also, they're closing out the internet. As far as, do I think Trump is going to win? Absolutely. Do I want Trump to win? Absolutely. Do I think it's a done deal? Of course not. I mean, anybody who says that is lying. I think he's got a really good chance. But Tulsi's somebody who could really move votes. And all of culture, you have to understand, like, they're going in overdrive. There's always been propaganda, but now it's an overdrive. Like, you can't even walk into a children's book section without them propagandizing your kid. Little Ruth Bader Ginsburg books. They're like, on this day, she wore this collar. It's like, resist. Like, literally, they have kids' propaganda books, and they know that I'm effective. They know that Trump's effective. They know that conservatives are winning, internet culture in many ways. They hate YouTube. They call YouTube alt-right. YouTube's not alt-right. It's just people go to YouTube for non-propaganda that they can find that's not on TV. So yeah, conservatives do very well on YouTube because they're honest and they're, doing deeper diving stuff right now. And there's some left-leaning people too, but it's not all alt-right. What I'm saying is, it's going to be even tougher this election. They're going to swallow up the internet even more and make sure that no way that we can win. They're going to try to cheat in every single way. So when it comes to Tulsi, she's a real competitor. And I just want to say to people that get mad at me for saying this, you have to understand, I don't celebrate a victory until it's over. That's sounds like a loser mentality. Hey, I'm going to go platinum. I have a Grammy best-selling album. And it's like, dude, did you even release a song? No. Well, that doesn't sound like a winning strategy to me. You got to play the game before you win. And people have already texted me. You have to understand, I have progressive friends that might still be in the chat. They're going to vote for Tulsi over Trump. If there was a neoliberal, old school Democrat, they would probably vote for Trump. So just with that, if Tulsi wins the nomination, she's going to steal millions of progressive left-leaning, like, anti-war people from Trump. And a lot of those people voted for Trump. Like, people think that everybody who voted for Trump because why they voted for Trump. People think that everybody thinks like them. And this is the biggest misconception on the left and the right. It doesn't matter. Not everyone thinks like you. There's 1,000 people, you ask them the same thing, they're going to say 1,000 different reasons for why they support somebody. I found this out on the Bernie trail. I didn't think everyone was voting for him for this or that. I knew everyone had their own reasons. So Trump, you have to understand, millions of people probably voted for Trump because he was anti-regime change war. There's a lot, including myself. That's why I like Bernie. Everyone's like, oh, you like socialism? No, I never liked Bernie's policies, but I saw him as the lesser of two evils. And I thought that he would stop the wars, and I thought that he would cut the funding for a lot of this stuff that I knew was going on for a decade. I didn't vote for Bernie for the same reason other people voted for Bernie. And with Trump, not everyone voted for Trump because of this, that, or the other. Some people did it because they didn't like Obamacare. Some people did it because they wanted to stop the wars. Some people just really hated Hillary Clinton. Some people are fiscally conservative. Some people are Christian, socially conservative. Some people are anti-abortion. I know someone who's, said her Asian mom voted for Trump because he was anti-abortion, and that's the only reason. Like, everybody has their own reason for why they supported Trump, and every little bit of support that President Trump got is the reason that he won. He needed all of those groups to support him. It wasn't just white evangelicals like liberal news says. They lie about everything, but that's not true. That's not why Trump won. He won over two-time Obama voters. So I've had, just to be, I know people don't want to hear this, and for some reason people have been getting mad at me, but I've had people who are huge Trump supporters text me and say, I might vote for Tulsi. I'm not joking. Like, one of my conservative friends who loves Trump said he might vote for Tulsi. I was like, dude, I don't know about all that, because as much as I like Tulsi, the fact that she's anti-regime change war and she seems to be outside the system a little bit, I don't know. I don't trust her on, like, I'm over taxes. I'm over any Democrats. If they're going to not speak out about the first two amendments, if they're going to try to go for gun grabs and be silent about social media and media censorship, if they're going to lie and act like the television's not 95% far left-wing globalist agenda, if they're not going to do that, if they're going to try to raise my taxes and not lower taxes, there's nothing for me on the left anymore, unfortunately. I don't, like, what Tulsi Gabbard said in 2004, she would never repeat again, because it just doesn't work on the left now. She would get, crushed on the left if she told the truth. So I find that the left is just a lie all the way around. Taxes are a lie. Raising taxes are a lie. First two amendment grabs are a lie. Having to apologize for what you said 10 years ago, even though that was honest, is a lie. The fact that you won't even stand up for the Constitution anymore because it's not popular on the left's a lie. You can't win on the left unless you're living a lie. And Tulsi Gabbard knows this. She's smart. So she's going to have to lie and backtrack and pander a lot. And I don't know how much I could trust that. I'm going to try to interview her and get to the tough questions. But, I don't like the idea of, making government any bigger than it has get. But like I said, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled on Tulsi. I'm going to interview her. And don't underestimate her, because out of whatever her name is, Elizabeth Warren and all these other goofy people, Tulsi's a real threat. And people think it's a joke and Trump's got it in the bag. I want him to win. I think he'll do well. But, it's a whole different ballgame with her. Like Trump will make Elizabeth Warren look like a fool, because she is a fool. Tulsi, pretty calm, very well spoken, very good at reaching out to both sides, knows the game, is young, very beautiful, interesting stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But 2020 election is going to be lit, as the kids are saying nowadays. Fourth story of the day, and make sure you guys stay tuned. The last story is pretty edgy and fun, and I'm going to talk about the